Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. We just got a brand new surprise update in Black Ops 6 and Warzone that actually features a decent list of patch notes across all modes. They actually directly address some of the hit reg issues and some secret changes that went live with an update earlier on this week, and they detail, funny enough, some of the various stability fixes that they love to include in the patch notes that, of course, we always poke fun of here on the channel. But that said, as you can see, we've got our Wednesday, December 11th patch notes. Yes, the date and the day of the week are correct on these patch notes. It's probably because I didn't instantly refresh when these updates went live. Sometimes I beat the patch notes page to them posting, and that's why the dates are always mismatched, it seems like. But that said, a lot of patch notes actually go through with this update itself. Now, as far as the update goes, this is an update requires restart type patch. So if you go to boot up the game next, you're gonna get hit with update requires restart. You got to go through that loop. Hopefully your game doesn't crash every time it closes like mine, and then you can just swiftly go through that and you're good to go. But you're not going to have any major download or anything associated with this one. Not a title update, just a hot fix, a gameplay update here. But it does include some pretty important fixes, and as we do dive into all of them, if you enjoy the video, a like is always seriously appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, you want to guarantee that on a daily basis you are in the know for everything going on in COD. When we see routine updates, when we see surprise updates like this, you want to stay on top of the latest meta weapons and builds, this is the place to be. So feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. So here for the Wednesday, December 11th update, global updates here. So this applies to multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone alike. They say events, the hit list event. So obviously this event's concluded now, but there's been a lot of issues with this. We've addressed an issue where players who participated in the hit list event but did not log in to claim their rewards before the event ended did not receive all the associated community rewards. These community rewards have been retroactively granted to those who participated in the event. The community rewards include the buffer weight stock, the shadow multiplayer perk, the hand cannon streak, the veteran Warzone perk, and the siren 9mm weapon. So now those should all fully be functioning on your account. I've seen a lot of reports of players saying, hey, Zach, I was playing a ton during the hit list event. We were supposed to get the siren. It still shows as locked for me. Any idea what's going on? And like, we should have the armory accessible in case you missed it, but obviously the armory was disabled a couple of weeks ago and they never said anything about it. I don't know why that is. Maybe they'll update us eventually. Maybe it'll be in the patch notes here. But yeah, the armory was busted. So nice that they have gone through and actually retroactively fixed that. You should now have access to all of the hit list event rewards. Note, personal rewards remain limited to your personal contributions during the event. So if you did not get the loading screen or the calling card, the emblem, the weapon charm, that stuff's no longer going to be accessible. The power drill should be available through the armory if they ever go through and fix that. Stability updates, big one here. It's actual details, not just, hey, improved stability performance or whatever. Resolved some cases that could result in mismatched player animations between the client and server, targeting Warzone high player count multiplayer matches and zombies. Resolved a visual bug for some cases where blood effects would appear when shots did not connect with their intended target. They're still gaslighting this though with the description, because that's not what's happening. I'll talk more on it in just a moment, but I do want to read their note here. We remain committed to tracking and investigating reports from the community. Studio teams are always monitoring reported issues and continue to prioritize optimization of our infrastructure to ensure the best experience for all players. I really wish that didn't read like a PR statement or like it was written so professionally. It just doesn't seem the same, right? Like, I wish they would say, we understand that you guys are not happy with the state of our servers and the performance there. We understand you guys are not happy with the state of Ricochet anti-cheat. We are actively looking into this stuff. Instead, it's just like, hey, it's the same thing as they always say. We want to have the best player experience possible, but then the player experience is really rough for a long period of time, and very little seems to be done to actually change that until it starts really affecting the player count or really affecting the store sales and stuff like that. But nonetheless, with this, as I just alluded to, they're still kind of gaslighting this, saying the blood effects are appearing, or they were appearing rather, since it's fixed now. This was a secret change that I actually talked about this morning in our first video. If you haven't caught that yet, feel free to go and check it out. But where you'd shoot an enemy, a blood effect would splatter. You could actually see blood come out of the enemy when you shot at them, but it didn't register the hit. The problem is you're seeing a client side hit impact there, basically, where that blood comes out. So on your screen, to your POV, you are landing that shot. but on the server, that shot's not connecting. And that's why you're not dealing any damage or not dealing that hit marker, right? It's just visual blood on your side. So we saw it. Friend on Twitter, I covered this in the video this morning as well. The desync, if you still force that into your gameplay and force lag into your gameplay, the bullets will still look like they're hitting, but you won't see that blood splatter anymore, and it won't connect unless the server recognizes that that shot hit. So while you don't have the misinformation of it looking like you should be getting a damage hit marker, you should be dealing damage to the opponent via the blood splatter, you're still going to be able to see your shots hit your enemy, and you're still going to know, hey, on my screen, I know where I'm shooting, I see the bullet going there. You're just not going to see the misinformation of the blood splatter showing up when it shouldn't be. But if there's any lag or any desync involved and the server doesn't recognize that you actually shot that player, it's not going to give you the damage. It's not going to give you the hit markers. So they're still doubling down on it, saying the bullet's not connecting with the target, but it is on your screen. It's the fact that the server thinks it's not. So they still need to do more with their servers. And I think it's really funny that they have this note here saying, hey, we're committed to optimizing the infrastructure and everything, while they're also gaslighting us still on what's going on with this situation here. So weird update there for sure, but that's not all for patch notes. We have more to discuss with zombies and some other stuff with Warzone and various other things that COD Updates has also posted recently. But they do say here with zombies, Citadel Day More ends up getting a bunch of updates here. Address an issue where excessive amounts of enemies could spawn during the Caliber and Sword quest. Address an issue that could cause players to get stuck indefinitely in the Sanctuary during the Soleil Sword quest. Resolved an issue where light symbols would respond incorrectly to splash damage. Addressed an issue where the main quest boss received higher melee damage than intended. I think that was with the power drill. Addressed a rare issue where the main boss would die in one hit. That would have been nice. If I got that when we did the Easter egg run with my friends the other night, that would have been kind of cool. They also closed an exploit that allowed the idolized Gobblegum to freeze the main quest boss. They also have a note here saying, not all bugs are created equal. Some issues will take longer to identify, replicate, fix, test, and then release than others. And addressing one issue can often create another. Oh, we know all about that, Call of Duty. You ain't got to tell us twice on that. We know the whole deal of fix one thing, break three others. Certain bugs also need to have their fix scheduled for a major update down the line before they can go live, such as code fixes, while others can be done server side on the back end without having to hold on to a new season or a mid-season launch. The team's always working to prioritize or solve issues as they're discovered. If you don't see a fix for a particular bug that you're hoping to be addressed, it doesn't mean we're not on the case. Thanks to your patience, keep an eye on our Trello board for more status updates. See, this is a better response in my opinion than this. This actually addresses concerns that we ask all the time of, hey, why is this taking so long to fix when this was already fixed and it was broken after that? Like, what's the deal here? They actually explain in some detail. It's not super in depth, but it's some detail saying, some things we can just fix with a hot fix. Others, for whatever reason, I'm not, super in depth with game dev. I'm very ignorant to it, and I'll always admit that. Why something would require a major update down the line with the code as opposed to being a hot fix or this or that, right? But cool that they actually respond to that. Now, though, let's jump over to the Warzone patch notes page and then check out the COD Updates Twitter for even more changes. So here, Wednesday, December 11th, day and date still correct. Performance updates globally. It's essentially just reiterating what we saw over in the global updates on the multiplayer page. Resolved issues that could result in mismatched player animations between the client and server. So Warzone targeting with high player counts in multiplayer, then in zombies as well. Maybe this is going to impact some of those situations where you could previously see the blood splatter effect, as they also say they resolve here, and they give us the same PR response. If we promise we want to have the best player base experience, and then the player base isn't having the best experience and they just gaslight. But maybe this first issue here with the mismatched player animations, perhaps some of those animations were caused by whatever issues going on there, and that's why we saw those fake blood spatters where you clearly look like you're connecting on your screen, but maybe they've updated the server to a certain extent where those animations won't happen as much now. We can cross our fingers. We're obviously going to have to test in game, but yeah, essentially the same global update there. Let's jump over to the COD Updates Twitter account now. So here, one additional Warzone update that actually went live earlier on today. They say for Warzone, we deployed a fix for an issue that was preventing some full parties to not bypass the SR restriction in ranked play. To recap, full parties of 3, so if you're a maxed out party in Warzone ranked, you can now play together regardless of your individual ranks, but the matchmaking will always be based on the highest rank. So if you're playing with a Crimson and then 2 Silvers, you can do that now. There will be no restrictions, but your matchmaking is going to be based off the Crimson and not those Silvers for what it's worth. So cool update there. I like that. There's not nearly as severe of a penalty if you are playing with maybe some players who haven't played ranked as much. Some of your friends maybe were off the game for a little bit and you ranked up and ranked, and now you couldn't play with them beforehand. You can play with with whoever you want now, but you're going to have the absolute strictest matchmaking possible for the best player in your party or the highest rank in your party. And then COD Updates also post this one. I'll move the face cam over since there's a bit more text, but it's kind of funny because this is actually them, again, I think kind of outlining the various stability fixes that they put in the patch notes that we're always joking about. So it's just kind of a recap of some of these stability updates they've put out recently. We've recently rolled out a series of updates designed to improve performance and fluidity across the game. So resolving cases that could result in those mismatched player animations as of today, reducing weapon motion and idle sway for smoother gunplay that happened yesterday, of course. Resolved an issue where hit markers were displaying inaccurate feedback in kill cams, a few days back. That was a big deal as well. More misinformation there where it looked like some players were getting headshots to other parts of the body. Made several server performance enhancements in Warzone with more on the way. That's the keynote there because we know these server performance enhancements don't really feel like they actually happened. Reduced minimum time to sprint before performing a slide or a dive. That was a while back. Again, with the PR statement, we remain committed to tracking and investigating reports from the community. Studio teams are always monitoring reported issues and continue to prioritize optimization of our infrastructure and whatnot for the best experience. Hopefully they stay true to that because it's far from the first time we've heard this. Keep in mind, over the years, we always see the Warzone integration starts off super rough by season 4, 5, 6. It ends up in a really playable place. Then we reset for the next one and the next one. I'll have a full video on this coming soon if I could ever stick to my usual content schedule where there's not surprise patch notes every other day. But for now, that's what ended up changing in today's surprise update. That's going to wrap things up. If you enjoyed the video, a like would be seriously appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, you want to guarantee you are always in the know for the need to know information here in Call of Duty, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on your post notifications on your way out. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy. Have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.